In today's Customer Spotlight, we're going to take a look at Justin's 2012 Mustang GT in one of the rarest colors ever produced. So here with Justin, this absolutely sick 2012 GT. I've obviously known about you and this car for a while. We've been friends for a few years now, but tell us about this car. I mean, especially the color. In case you guys have never seen it before, it's not black, it's actually lava red. Tell us about that.
I bought the car back in 2016, and I wanted a black Mustang. I had a 01 2-valve that I built and boosted.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to get into something a little bit more up to date.
The new Coyote, obviously,
yeah.
Everybody wanted back then.
Yep. So I sold the car. Within a week, I found this. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I thought I was buying a black car. I saw it on Craigslist.
I think it's pretty common. I've heard a lot of people who own the lava cars that literally went to see it thinking it was black and didn't realize it.
Yeah, we drove 9 hours to get this car.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 hours there, 4 hours back. A buddy of mine, Brandon Lee, he took me all the way to Charlotte, and traffic and everything would get there. And of course, we're in his vet, and I'm thinking about license plates ideas. There's something with the word black in it because I thought I was buying a black car.
Yeah.
We get all the way there, and he looks at the car. He goes, "Dude, is that the car?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." And he was like, "No, that's not the car. That's not a black car." So I texted dude, and he was in the coffee shop, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll be out there in a minute." So we're looking at the car, and I was like, "What kind of color is this?" And so, yeah, the rest is history. He said, "Look, man, what do you want to do? You want to buy it, or you want to go home?" I was like, "Nah, we're gonna either take it home and sell it, or we're gonna wrap it. One of the two."
So you weren't sure on the color when you actually got it?
I didn't know anything about the color until I got home and posted it on social media, and everybody went crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, "It's lava red." I was like, "What in the world is lava red?"
And I don't know the numbers. I know they didn't. I've heard 500-ish roughly were made. The story was actually pretty cool. I'm sure you know the lava red color, the pigment that was made for lava, was actually made in, I think it was Japan. And there was a tsunami that destroyed part of the factory, so Ford couldn't get the pigment and discontinued the color, which is why there's so few of these. And I mean, they're definitely sought after. Like, people don't know they exist. And then when you see this color, especially outside, and we'll take this car outside in a couple minutes and show you in the sun, but it is a cool color. Now, when you bought it, I know what's done to it now wasn't done to it then, but was it stock? Was it modified? What was your original plans for it?
So I bought the car bone stock. It had 17,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And the only thing that was done with it was a MGW shifter. That was it. That was the only modification he did to the car. He wanted to road race it. So that was absolutely only a modification. So when I got it, I got it right before I started college, and I was like, I'm not gonna do anything to this car while I'm in school.
Daily driver, keep it reliable.
I'm gonna keep it
stock.
stock.
That story.
Yep. So I got to Richmond, and I saw the car scene out there, other Mustangs and stuff, and I'm like, yeah. And then I went online, and I saw how many things that you could do to these cars. So that changed my whole
Okay, so you were still fairly new. You didn't do a ton of research before you bought the car.
I knew what I wanted, and I couldn't find an automatic in my price range, and everybody wanted expensive, like a huge amount of money for it. So I just settled for this, and I'm glad I did. But it started off with just the basic mods.
We know these make 412 stock. Yeah. Before we get into the modifications, how much is this car? Roughly how much power is it making now?
Whew. If I had to guess, 720 to 750.
Okay. With a lot of room left to grow. Okay, so to get back to the modifications, tell us about the history and how it ended up here.
So it was stock NA car. Started off with a Boss intake and a tune, Steeda cold air intake. Ran the car, and I just had a drag pack on it. Had race stars on it.
Okay.
And,
I think we all own those at one point.
Yeah, so played around with the car, and I started to dabble in nitrous. And it was on 150 shot, and then I went on to the Pro Charger stage, and put a D1 on it, and that's where the car really took off.
Okay.
It was okay. I liked it. It was different from the 2-valve, because that was Pro Charge too.
Okay. But huge power.
It was a huge power difference.
2-valve and a Coyote with blower on it.
Yep. So after that, I got to the point where I wanted to make more power, and it was going to cost a lot more money to make that D1 do what I needed to do. So it was going to be somewhere around $3,400, $3,500.
Okay.
Something like that to up the boost
to take
fuel
to the
system.
next level with that.
Yep. Exactly. So.
And then you and I happened to have a conversation one night.
Yeah. We were at a Streetcar Takeover.
Yep.
And we were looking at the Boss, and you were thinking about parting it out and selling it. and I called you up and I'm like, hey, let me know when you sell that. So let me know what you're gonna do with that. And that's when you were like, hey, I think I'm gonna part it out. And that's when I hit you up and I took it from you.
So obviously the kit looks familiar, but you've made a lot of changes since the kit was on my car. Tell us about the kit now.
Yeah, so obviously when you had it, you had the E-Boost 2 controller on it, and I switched it to a boost leash boost controller with CO2. So all these lines are ran inside the car, under here in the engine bay, to get more accurate boost measures.
Okay.
And it's boost by gear.
And you're running this pretty low boost-wise.
Yeah,
now,
it's 5-pound wastegate springs.
Okay.
Right now, and then I let the CO2 take care of the rest of it.
Okay.
And I turn it up when I need to. Really, 5 pounds on the street is all you need.
It's plenty of fast.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 pounds with turbos is way different than 5 pounds with a blower. For
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the only thing that I did different was put the turbo guards on it, and Cliff Hatcher, the same person that painted the front end and the hood, everything on the car, he painted the turbos.
Okay.
And the piping. Everybody thinks it's powder coat, but it's not.
I would have thought so too. I remember you told me they were painted, and I asked how that hold up for the turbos, and obviously it holds up fine. So
Yeah.
That was a while ago you did that now.
Oh yeah, yeah. And before that, when I had the Pro Charger, he painted that too, and that was a year and a half. It held up, not a chip or anything.
You know, with the turbos, obviously they produce a ton of heat. How are you keeping everything cool here?
The air to water does a really good job of keeping the IETs down. I also bought the turbo blankets.
Okay.
They help out a lot. When I first put the kit on, where we were tuning the car, I didn't have the turbo guards on it. Well, not the turbo guards, but the turbo blankets.
Okay.
And you could feel the heat from the hood.
Oh yeah. They get hot. I remember I actually had an issue with my valve cover on this side, the coil cover I should say. Got melted by one of the turbos because of how much heat these things make.
Yep, so I went to the shop after we got it tuned by London Racing. Dakota at London Racing tuned the car.
Okay.
And
yeah, she tuned it when the guy that owned it before me, he tuned it for him too. So.
Yeah, so the shop is 30 minutes from my house, and I didn't have the turbo blankets on it. You can just feel the heat. And then when they came in, went to the shop, put the turbo blankets on, you could literally put your hand on the hood, and there's no heat.
Huge difference.
Yeah, huge difference. So between the ice tank and the turbo blankets and the wrap that was on the kit, it does a really good job.
Stays much cooler than it used to.
Exactly.
On the outside of the car, I mean, especially with the lava paint, you've done obviously a bunch of modifications, the hood. How hard is it to match this? I mean, does the body shop like scream every time you show up and put new stuff on this car?
Okay, so funny story about that. The color really didn't start to pop until Bobby ceramic coated it and did a paint correction.
Okay.
So yeah, when he did that, it turned it out. And actually a buddy of mine, Cliff Hatcher, he painted the front end, the hood, the spoiler, the trunk lid.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a mastermind of that. Like, it matches 100%.
So he painted it and kind of blended everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the paint looks, it looks black. I can guarantee it from the people watching on camera. But when you see the color in the sun, it really is pretty amazing.
Yeah, he sight unseen. I just gave him the paint code, which is UZ, and took him the hood and the bumper and whatever else I needed to paint it, and he took off with it, painted it. I put it back on the car, and it matches.
Now, where are you trying to go with this car? I mean, what's your future goal with it?
I really don't have one, to be honest. I like it the way it is. I haven't made any adjustments.
And you drive it. Like,
oh, yeah.
You're on the street on this car all the time,
yeah.
from what I can tell.
Yeah, I drive it a lot.
And so far been reliable for you? And
yeah.
You have plans to turn it up? I mean, I know what the kit made on my Boss, so obviously there's a lot more room there if you want to turn it up a little bit.
So I'm gonna turn it up, but it's not a built motor. It's a stock, and it's a stock, short bottom end motor. So I don't wanna take it up any higher than what I need to. But I'm just trying to keep it consistent and enjoy the car.
Because you have kind of another car I think you're working on that's going to be more of an extreme car and kind of keep this one as your streeter.
Yeah, it's a 2011 that I'm working on. And that one's basically going to get the exact same, except the turbo kit's going to be different. But same suspension, UPR suspension.
Okay.
Same weld wheels, tires, and everything. It's just the color is going to be somewhat the same, but totally different. It's going to be different. So
wrap, paint.
Paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby helping you out with that, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what I guessed.
Yeah. So we, funny story about that. I showed him a picture of a color that I wanted, and it's on a car, and I couldn't find the paint code, and he took him about a week to find the paint code.
Okay.
So
And how far out is that car at this point? I mean, I've seen it somewhat recently, and I know there's a way to go on it, but
It's still a long way to go. Rock Solid Motorsports is gonna provide me with a tubular front end on it.
okay.
And it's on back order.
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. The car was wrecked, so we want to fix the front end first before we, go any further.
And that's going to be a track-only car from what you told me. You're talking like low, sevens? Is that the kind of goal I think you were talking about with that car?
So we're probably going to touch about 8s first just to see.
Okay.
And then, built 6R80 car. Obviously, this was a built Stage 3 Calamar trans.
Okay,
in this one, but the other one's going to be stock 6R80 for right now, and then we're going to send it off and do a built 6R80
So the goal
car.
of a 7-second race car and probably a 9-second street car.
Yeah.
Tough life. Yeah. So like I said, you bought this car, you didn't know Live even existed, and you happened to buy a black car that turns red in the sun.
Yeah.
But would you ever get rid of this car? I mean, is this something that it's like now it's kind of a part of you, or is it like, I could build something else down the road? I mean, you've had this car for, I guess, 5-6 years now.
Yeah. So a funny story about that, it was actually for sale at one point.
Okay. Because everybody asks on the videos, it'll be like, hey, for sale. And so we always ask now. We didn't used to, but we now kind of sort of do.
So probably about a year after I bought it.
Okay. So it was pretty mild back then.
Yeah, that was the last time I thought about selling it. And then before, it had the nitrous kit on it, of course, 150 shot. And I posted it on for Craigslist just to see what I could get for it. And I actually had a guy wanting to come and get it. And then I changed my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, so I changed my mind on that. But as far as now, I think it's grown on me.
I guess you're thankful at that point that you changed your mind.
Yeah.
This car is you. Like, I know when you see this car, I'm like, oh, Justin's here.
Yeah. I don't think I'd ever sell it. It's probably gonna stay with me for a while. If I did sell it, that'd probably be a hefty
I would think
amount.
so. I would think so.
So you'd have to pry me away from it. And even then, I think I'd probably keep track on it. And
I've done that. Yeah, the cars that I've sold over the years, it's cool to see where they go and kind of see what they end up doing with them.
Yep. And because I've a lot of my friends, if they sell their cars and they end up in ditches and stuff, so that would hurt me.
That happen too. Yep.
That would hurt me so much if I was to sell this car and then if the owner has Instagram or so, and you know that you have access to it. Like if it's an older guy in California somewhere or Texas or wherever the case is, and you'll never see the car again, it probably wouldn't bother me. I might do a VIN search every once in a while.
Yeah.
But if it's on social media and I see it, and I'm just like, you need to fix that. But yeah, it's probably not gonna get sold.
Well, cool, man. Hey, we appreciate you bringing it down. If you want to see more on this build, JGray757, I believe, is his Instagram handle. And dude, again, awesome car. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it on the track in a couple weeks at SCT.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.